Historian David Starkey has said he thinks Remembrance Sunday has become a crazy religious ritual that imposes poppy fascism on people. And a pub owner in Bristol even said he wouldn't serve anyone not wearing a poppy. So, should we be forced to wear poppies to keep Remembrance Sunday alive?
I wouldn't say forced, I would say encouraged. And I think that pub landlord is great, actually, because you have freedom of choice to not go into his pub if you don't want to wear a poppy.
Yeah.
But the reason you have that freedom of choice is that hundreds of thousands of young men who didn't have freedom of choice fought for you to have that freedom of choice. So for me, wearing a poppy is about respect. It's not about glorifying war, and it's respect for people who fought in many, many wars.
Yep.
And, you know, when you go into Westminster Abbey, there's the tomb of the unknown soldier, isn't there? And apparently somebody told me that the Americans keep saying, well, let's get them out and DNA them and give this soldier an identity. And they keep saying, no, that's not the point, because he's there to represent all soldiers in all wars. And for me, that is what the poppy is about. So, and encouraging, for me, I also think it's not really about having to know the ins and outs of every battle and, you know, every warship and all of that. It's just having a sense of the sacrifice. And children, you know, they learn. How many times do we have to learn about Henry VIII?
I know, I was just gonna
he's interesting
say.
because he decapitated a couple of his wives, and well, you know, no, but that's what kids remember.
They do remember that.
You know, but you can do that with the First and the Second World Wars, particularly. You can take them, bring it alive, take them to Normandy. Normandy is a beautiful area of France anyway. It doesn't have to all be about war, but go and see the cemeteries, go and see the sacrifice with your own eyes. They've got trenches there at the Somme. They've got the trenches that these guys lived in. The kids can see that, you know, bring it alive and just let them understand that the privileged lives they have, not everybody has enjoyed.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And it's not just, I mean, you mentioned children there. It's not just children. Obviously, there was controversy because some of the Apprentice stars didn't even know the dates of the war.
I've always said the first series of The Apprentice was the best. They had the intelligent people on there. I've always said it, and I maintain it even now. I'm really sorry. But do you know, the thing that is embarrassing, and for me, the reason to remember everybody who fought in all the wars is because the right-wing agenda in this country use our armed forces as a real kind of you know, we're British, we fought for the... What people don't remember, it's only till, I would say, very recently that the Commonwealth has been celebrated. If it wasn't for the Commonwealth and British Indian people and British Jamaican people, we would not have won the war. So actually, everybody, regardless of colour, regardless of religion, we were seen as British, and we are British, and it is just important for us to remember these people. And my daughter, who was born in Pakistan, we talk about, you know, schools. The other day on Saturday, actually, she said, Mummy, remember, I've got to buy a poppy because it's Remembrance Day tomorrow. So they are teaching them at school. And I think it's really important. I'm really glad. And she took £5 from her dad. And I said, but it only costs £1, Amara. She said, no, I'm going to put £3 in, Mummy, and £2 for chocolate. I said, absolutely fine. So, you know, and
she's a mother's daughter.
She's a mother's daughter. And she put the money in the box, she chose her poppy, and she put it on, and I just thought, that's brilliant. But Steve keeps the memory of World War II alive in that house.
You're right. If you go to Normandy, you know, you can see some lovely countryside, you can visit markets, but you can also see, everywhere you go, there are memorials to Australians, the Australians,
Yeah, absolutely.
Canadians. I think it's important as well.
Italians,
I know that you guys, I think, we're all involved in some sort of, war memorial charity as well. And I was talking to some veterans only recently and just talking about the survivors' story as well. They were remembering the friends and the relatives that they'd lost, but the survivors and what they went through with the PTSD, which is, of course, was shell shock then. People said, oh, this PTSD is a new thing. Of course it wasn't. It was shell shock. There's still very little done for those people. But I at the time, said to Louis at 18, you know, they're like sort of like, oh, my God, you know, and I said, I think it's really important that you come with me next time and you spend some time listening to what these people went through. And he said exactly the same about school. He said, my memory of history, Mum, is more about the Tudors and Stuarts, which of course is part of our history, but our more recent history is what they should be.
Absolutely. And we should also say, I just want to say very quickly, there are 40,000 soldiers still alive who've been medically discharged in the last 20 years, and they need help for life.
Absolutely.
And we need to respect them more.
Yeah, we do.
We need to respect them more.